there he is. Well, I'm assuming there they are for the very first time.
Bruce the Barbarian here.
Bruce the Barbarian. I hope you're ready for the. I can't remember any of these voices. This is gonna be awful.
The Paladin was very kind of regal. Possibly old. Oh yeah, it's possible we used to be evil. The hook-handed fish lady, and the hook is a crochet hook.
Let's be it clear. Yes.
I think was quite. So what you're saying is you're evil, your legs.
Yeah. Okay. Very well. All right. So you get to be Bruce the Barbarian here. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
All right. Hang on a second. I gotta move my water out. No. All right.
With apologies to the entire Australian nation. G'day.
I have returned, innkeeper. Welcome back, Miss Anwar, and welcome. This brave's adventurer's name is Claymore. Oh my god. Of course. He offered unexpected support during my quest. Claymore. Oh bless him. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you so much on behalf of the world. Yes, of course. The world, Mr. Clay.
You don't need to do the whole Mr. thing. Clay's all right with me. Otherwise, it sounds so formal, like talking to one of those graph people.
Oh, you wouldn't want to be one of those. Clay it is then. Can I offer you both a drink in exchange for the story of how you two met?
Oh, that'd be a fun trade. Right, Tia?
I think I would welcome it as well.
Yeah.
Then what can I get you? Clay, please go ahead.
Oh my. You got a lot of stuff on the menu.
Stop rattling! Look at his big giant eyes.
How about one of those drinks with ingredients?
You look strong, so how about something extra for those muscles?
That sounds nice. Let's go with it.
One coming up. Claymore.
Claymore.
Of course. Hello, Andrew. How are you? There we go. All right, we need something. I gotta remember. Much with the strength. Okay. Strong. Big mix strong. Sailor's courage, and I don't think he needs anything that complex. I think a good old-fashioned Southern brawler is gonna be just fine. So we need 3 of these. Claymore the Golem Barbarian. He doesn't really look like a golem to me, but he could be. 1 Southern Brawler coming up. Try this. I think it'll knock your socks off.
It stays strong and magic-y. My socks are still on. Still? I love it. I'll have to remember this one for next time. What is it called?
Don't worry. I'll remember it for you.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Miss Anwar, what would you like? I need some of that liquid vigilance. Even in here, it's important to stay on guard. You'd think it would be the... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Wouldn't this be the right time to relax?
There is never such a time.
All right, then I shall aid you in your divine mission of not falling asleep standing up.
Okay. So, extra defense, it looks like.
And whose job is bucket?
First snow. 1,000 winds. Let me check my options. I think a frosted lagoon sounds about right. It's not asking me to make anything terribly complex here. I have to show the chat. Hang on a second, chat. Behold. You see that tail?
Mayhem tail.
Mayhem tail is what? Oh, yeah. Yep. We got mayhem tail incoming.
Leggy.
Yes. There's a frosted lagoon.
Some liquid vigilance, diluted with some delicious secret ingredients. Enjoy.
I could do with something less diluted, but you're right, it is delicious. Happy
to hear that. Do we get to tell the story now?
Please, go ahead.
You think I should start with the seashells?
No, I think some exposition is in order first. As you already know, Innkeeper, I plan to start my investigation right here in Zenith, specifically at the local Gaia temple.
So I've been told. Mostly about that wobbly news.
Ah, yes, that was certainly something. Besides their fascinating personal secrets, they had nothing of value to share with me. But fortunately, thanks to your rumors, I was not entirely without a lead. The wizard's prophecy led me to Dullwell, or should I say the Abandoned Isle, or Fairweather. The name changes depending on who you ask.
I didn't know it had that many names. I always just called it Kilpie Island.
Why?
Because it's shaped like a Kilpie.
That's a smart approach. Kelpie Island or Fairweather, its name means very little to me. Its local settlement of Fae was much more relevant. They built everything into the giant sequoia that holds the portal to Avalon.
The portal is in the tree.
Yes, right in its center. They call it the Horizon Tree. It's very beautiful. The Fae themselves were moderately helpful. It was difficult to get them to focus on the severity of the situation. And I was pretty sure they were preparing some sort of morbid ritual with the acorns that they were stringing up between rose bushes in asymmetrical shapes.
Oh, I always thought those were art projects. Common misconception. Sounds more like they were preparing to charge them with astral moonlight.
For what?
Well, if you freeze them, they make very good ice cubes.
Do you participate in such practices?
Well, not right now.
I'm not going to question that. Eventually, I got them to sit still long enough to ask them about any strange occurrences around their settlement.
Did they understand your definition of strange?
It took some explanation. Have a good one, Ozzy. Good night.
See you, Ozzy.
They told me about how just recently an astral humpback whale had rampaged through one of their nearby scouting camps. Just 2 days before the stars fell. They said it seemed like it was running from something and it was full of seething fury. They also claimed it to be a good sign because it promised adventure. Alex seems like an understatement. Significantly.
I mean, it did end up in some kind of adventure.
Investigating disaster is not an adventure. It is a necessity of dire circumstances.
I have fun. That makes two of us.
It certainly was a sign of something being awry, and I was determined to get to the bottom of it. So naturally, I made my way to nearby Carapace Beach. Oh, sorry, everybody. And prepared a celestial summoning ritual under the young astral moon.
For the humpback whale, I suppose.
What else would I be summoning?
I thought maybe you wanted to ask Cassiopeia for her input.
Are you out of your mind? The Realm Keepers have sworn a divine oath of neutrality. It prevents them from directly interfering with the simple worlds of us mortals. The full might of their powers could disrupt the delicate balance of their cosmic design.
Right. Sorry. Slipped my mind.
You are forgiven. As I was preparing the ritual, readying myself to confront the troublemaker, I suddenly found myself being interrupted by a strange request.
That was me. I asked her if she needed any more seashells.
Did she? I did, actually. Pairing dragon head tritons and flimmering limpet shells can heighten the dual aspects of the celestial twins, therefore making the connection to the astral sea more stable.
Obviously.
I had managed to find a limpet shell, and one happened to be among his offerings.
I honestly just thought she was decorating the beach and that she could do with more colour. Well, you weren't wrong, in a way. Sadly, the shells burned up during the ritual. Singed Tia's hands, too.
Just a little. Fortunately, I possess spectacular healing capabilities.
Fortunate indeed. Were you collecting seashells for beach decorating or your very own ritual play? Oh, I was collecting them for my friends. At this time of year, Kelpie Island is full of all kinds of sparkling, floating animals from the astral sea. I love munching on seashells.
God, he's such a himbo. Do you encounter these creatures a lot?
I try to. They're really nice.
Clay can talk to animals. Gaia's blessings rest upon him. I like you're full of surprises. You're full of surprises.
Oh, thank you. Though I'm not always sure they like talking to me. They tend to disappear sooner or later. Sometimes they come back, but often they don't.
Aww.
I think maybe I accidentally say things that upset them without realizing it, and they think I mean to hurt them. I hate when that happens.
You mean they just disappeared like they were never there?
Yeah, like they moved to a different part of the beach.
Or like they returned to the astral sea?
I feel like they would tell me if they went back home.
Not necessarily. Many Astrian creatures can traverse the planes at will, but they don't always have control over when it is that they have to return. On many occasions, the astral currents pull them back home before they're ready. And once you're swept up in them, each subsequent journey out becomes more and more difficult, or so I've been told. I would guess your friends either went home when you weren't there, or got pulled back before they had a chance to say goodbye.
So you're saying the sea swallowed them?
Not quite. It just beckoned them home through a sort of celestial hug.
So that means I could just visit them in the astral sea?
That would be an incredible undertaking. Traveling between planes is quite hazardous.
It is, but echoes are from the primordial sea, and my family has lived here for quite a while, I think. I must have gotten here somehow.
They say it was much simpler to traverse between planes once. But for a long time it has been almost impossible without complicated and dangerous rituals. Until recently, the astral sea was the only possible way for it to pass through the barriers. And accessing it requires meticulous planning, not to mention the sea tends to come with more risks than rewards. Even your Astrian friends who can choose to leave their home plane on a whim get pulled back by the currents eventually. Imagine what would happen to you if you went in unprepared.
But the Fae on Kelpie Island aren't from Gaia either. And they told me they haven't lived here for very long.
Since the 5 interplanar portals opened up, interplanar travel has become a lot more accessible again. At least when it comes to the dream planes. But even the astral and primordial seas, not to mention Ur, are finally open to us again after all these years. It is a true miracle to witness in our lifetimes.
So the portals haven't always been there? I didn't know that. Who put them there?
Well, that is a very good question.
And one that would blow the scope of this conversation beyond its bounds, I would think. otherwise translated as me. You still have to tell me how you summoned that whale.
You're right, we're getting off track. As Clay and I talked, he told me about his fascinating friendships with the astral creatures, and his ability to speak with animals as if they share a language.
So you asked him for help?
Well, he offered his aid. I certainly could have handled it on my own, but...
But you didn't have to.
Right, that. Obviously. Thank you very much, Clay.
Anytime.
So I summoned it. The ritual worked exceptionally well, and it appeared out of the sky in a wave of concerning darkness. Stars used to accompany them.
I mean, there was one star.
There was. The whale was even bigger than I had anticipated, almost as tall as the horizon tree. And in its stomach rested a giant sun, the only star of the night sky whose light had not been extinguished, nestled right in its belly. That
sounds beautiful.
It was, in a way. The star wasn't the thing to worry about, though. The whale didn't look at all happy about being summoned. Instead, it looked like a wounded animal that was one loud noise away from lashing out. And it looked sick. Its translucent skin was gray, like it was frozen with the coldness of the highest mountains or the deepest depths. Oh my gosh, lady, you monologue. Its eyes were pale, almost blind, with no warmth to them. I thought for a brief second we must fight this beast before it consumes us and everything in its path. But when I looked over at Clay, I saw a deep understanding in his eye. Like he wasn't seeing a monster, but a friend. So I stayed quiet, knowing that whatever he knew outweighed my fear.
You knew what it needed, Clay. Well, not completely, but I knew that look in its eyes. That feeling when you're so scared you get angry. When you want to fight because you're terrified you won't be able to flee. So I knelt to show it that I didn't mean any harm. I held out my lost conch shell in my hands. It took a moment to overcome the instinct to mistrust, but then it picked the shell up gently and ate it.
It's because whales eat shells now.
I saw the conch freeze as it was swallowed. It looked painful. Wanting to comfort the whale, I reached out and I carefully put my hands against its cheek. I wanted it to know it wasn't alone.
I'm sure it needed that.
It did. It was so sad it cried tears of golden dust.
Its tears turned to ice before they even hit the ground. It was at that moment I realized its body had been cursed with a potent frostbite. I knew it did not trust me yet, so I did what I previously would not have thought possible. Through a hand on Clay's shoulder and the magic of your drink, I was able to briefly transfer my magic to Clay, allowing him to cure it of its disease. He kissed it on the forehead, and the ice burned away, freezing it with the endless chill. It was quite sweet.
That's one lucky whale. And one unusual effect of that infusion.
Is that not usually possible?
Inspiration is a fickle thing. Such magic is deeply personal, and it differs from person to person. I always enjoyed seeing how others imagined support to look like. Tia's support was really helpful.
I'd hope so.
Once it was free of its pain, the whale was ready to talk to us. I asked what had happened, and it told me about fighting some sort of evil creature on 2 legs.
A creature on 2 legs, so humanoid then. We assume. It turns out whales don't care much about our appearances.
It cared more about all the things being thrown at it. What a mean way to approach a whale. Apparently it swallowed some kind of stone. It can only remember its black and white colour and that it tasted horrible. But it thought, I have a strong digestive thing, it's nothing to worry about. Rookie mistake.
Mm.
The 2-legged monsters just wouldn't stop attacking, so it fled as quickly as it could, trying to find its way home. It felt really bad about destroying the camp. I get why. The worst part about being angry is seeing the wreckage you leave behind. Tia, do you ever get angry?
No. I am the embodiment of calmness and self-discipline. I'm very tempted to say where I come from. They call that repression, but we'll just say you forgot divinity.
Yeah, you forgot divinity.
You forgot divinity. Thank you.
Luckily, its anger subsided when it found its way back.